you don't want to be on the Epstein discharge. How much?
Because you're totally absurd. You guys are experts at red herrings and distraction.
Moving along.
No, it has nothing to do with Epstein. The House Oversight Committee is working on the Epstein files right now, releasing 34,000 pages and more on the web.
You know, she's key to
Let me
that.
finish.
I always want to make sure I understand where the progress is on his cover-up of these Epstein files, because now this is squarely in his lap, just like it was in Pam Bondi's before. I think he thinks saying these same lines over and over again is going to keep helping his ass out.
With regard to Grijalva, our dear friend from Louisiana, Julia Letlow, won a special election back in 2021. It was in March, as I remember. Speaker Pelosi took 25 days to administer the oath of office to her. No Democrats, jumped up and down and screamed about that, nor do I recall any Republicans, because everybody understood this is the process of the House. You do it as soon as you're able to do it. Ms. Grijalva won her election, and credit to her. She's going to fill her father's seat. I congratulate her. We're happy for her to serve. I'm going to be happy to administer the oath to her, as I am to every member who wins who is duly elected to this body. It's a great honor. But she won her election after the House was out of session. So we've not had a full session. She deserves to have all the pomp and circumstance that everybody else does. She deserves to have a full House of members and go down and do the speech and have her family and friends in the balcony. That hasn't been scheduled because we haven't had that session yet. As soon as Chuck Schumer opens the government, as soon as Mark Kelly and Senator Gallegos, the two senators from Arizona, Ms. Grijalva's state, will go and join with 3 others and open the government, we're happy. We'll have that as soon as we get back to business. But we have to get back to business. They have to open the government. I don't know how else I can answer that question.
I know a good way you can answer that question. You could probably answer that question truthfully, because we saw the progression of those lies. First, he's comparing himself to Nancy Pelosi. I mean, it's good to hear that Mike Johnson thinks that he's no better than Nancy Pelosi, because he said that there was a point when she didn't swear someone in and no one was upset about it. Well, that was then. This is now. Why are you just as bad as Democrats? I thought Democrats shouldn't be in office because they do things like that. It's weird how Mike Johnson has the same types of things and the same agenda items that dirty Nancy Pelosi always pulled. Why you like Nancy Pelosi? I mean, then he moved straight on to then talking about how, she should have the right kinds of introductions into the House. Pomp and circumstance. He really cares about whether or not she's going to get the right kind of ceremony, even though she said, just swear me in. But he wrapped up his whole bunch of lies by talking about how it's all the Democrats' fault and why they shut down the government. He wasn't done, though. He's excited about his lies.
Let's talk about Grijalva and Epstein. Okay, once more for everybody. Everybody in Congress, I think, is for maximum transparency of the Epstein files. That is underway right now. Let me point out before I go further, all of the files were in the possession of the Biden-Harris Department of Justice for 4 years. Every single thing that we're talking about right now was in their sole possession. They could have released it. They could have done anything. Ro Khanna, all the Democrats who are jumping up and down making noise about this, didn't say a peep about it for 4 years. I don't know why, but this is another partisan manufactured thing. Is it a serious problem? Yes. I have sat with the victims, some of the ladies who bravely have come forward and talked about the horrors that they sustained because of traffickers on Epstein Island and all the things he was involved in. Everybody involved in that should have the full weight of justice descend upon their head. And we're all for that. We want every single person who had anything to do with that to be exposed. But there's as many as 1,000 victims estimated. That's what the victims say. There may be 1,000 women who were made to suffer these unspeakable harms because of this. Many of them were underage at the time. They have not all chosen to come forward like some of these other brave women have for obvious reasons. And we have to make sure that when the files are released, their names are redacted so they don't suffer further harm. We have a duty and a responsibility. You can't just wave a wand and just, open the floodgates. You have to make sure that the victims don't suffer additional harms. That's all we've said. Let's make sure it's done the right way. We're for all of it coming out as soon as possible. The only thing we want to make sure of is that the innocent victims are protected, and I think we have a responsibility to do that.
Mike Johnson thinks he can talk about how he needs all these names redacted, and that's what's taking so long. But that's never the argument. It keeps on moving. It shifts from one thing to the next. Now it's Biden should have released all those files. Hey, why are you as bad as Biden? Biden apparently is covering up all these Democrats that are listed in these documents, that are implicated. Why are you still covering for all these dirty pedophile Democrats, Mike Johnson? Because obviously that's what you're insinuating that Joe Biden was doing during his time. Why are you doing the same thing? That's not a very good argument. That's not a good flex, bro. I'm just like Joe Biden. I'm just like Nancy Pelosi. So I'm happy to see things like from folks, from senators like Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego, who he mentioned from the state of Arizona. They confronted him in the halls of Congress.
Oh, hey, gentlemen.
Hey, Speaker.
Appreciate it. Good to see y'all.
Hey, so his congresswoman and a friend of ours, Adelita Grijalva, we're waiting.
Yeah, reopen the government so we can get back to work.
I mean, but this
that's great.
excuse just keeps on moving.
Yeah,
the
no,
laws
it's
Not great if you want representation.
Not last week.
no,
there was
hold on.
750.
Wait, let me address the,
Yeah.
you may address the, answer the question. We're happy that she got elected. She's filling her father's seat. That's fantastic. We have a long tradition here and a process of how we administer the oath to a member. You know, you served here for a while. We're going to do that as soon as we get back to work, but we need the lights turned back on, so we encourage both of you to go open the government.
Didn't we
so
do
can
that?
get everybody
with
back to regular
Virginia
session.
Republican swore the person
No,
in
no.
under
The,
same circumstances?
the exception is there were 2 Floridians who were elected in a special election. This happened a couple months back. They were here on a day. They had their families here. They had a scheduled day for the oath of office, and the House was called out of session that day. They had all their family and friends here, so we went ahead and went through the process in a pro forma.
With all due
Let me
respect,
finish. Wait, let me answer the question if you're going to ask it. And so that was the exception we did because the family was here. Ms. Grijalva, Rep-elect Grijalva, has not yet had a scheduled date because she was elected after the House was out of session.
We know these are these confrontations that have happened. I think we also saw Hakeem Jeffries confront someone else, and he was arguing also with another New York congressman in these halls. These are scenes that are now being made, and they need to be made. It's obvious to see that this is set for cameras to happen. It even seems like Mike Johnson knew it was coming too. Well, how you doing there, gentlemen? Let me lie a little bit more. If you guys listen to as much Mike Johnson as I have to, you'll see that he keeps saying those same things, but they keep rotating. It wasn't the end of his confrontation there with Senators Gallego and Kelly. Here's the rest of it.
You don't want to be on the Epstein discharge. How much?
It's
Because you're
totally absurd. You
no,
guys are
sorry,
experts
you
at
keep
red
on doing
herrings
this.
and
You keep
distraction.
moving along.
No, no, it has nothing to do with Epstein. The House Oversight Committee, the House Oversight Committee is
Obviously,
working
that's-
on the Epstein files right now, releasing 34,000 pages and more on the way.
know she's key to
Let me
that
finish.
petition.
Let me finish. The House Oversight
Just
Committee.
keep coming up with excuses. This is an excuse so she doesn't sign on to that.
This is absurd.
This is the longest time the House
Do you
has
want me
been
to
out of
answer the
Senate.
question? If you ask
Because
questions,
you're not
you answer.
actually answering the question. This
Okay.
entirely has to do with
Okay,
Epstein.
you see, this is a publicity stunt. Let me tell you what's happening. The House Oversight Committee is working on the release of the Epstein files.
All the things he says continue. It's been months since that's been debunked and pointed out. He doesn't want these files released. It's obvious. He's said that. He goes, they're unnecessary. It's a moot point, he keeps saying. You can't keep dancing around back and forth on this issue and acting like you care about it while also saying you don't care about it, while also saying that I'm not going to do anything about it, while saying I wish I could do something about it. The lack of swearing in Adelita Grijalva, it's obvious that the whole purpose is to keep her from being that last person to sign on. But it's a ticking clock. Eventually, it has to happen. That is, unless the next plan of Project 2025 is to keep the government shut down indefinitely and then continue to do whatever it is they want and keep this covered up. This is the key, man. I keep saying it. I really do think a big aspect of this, they were like, we have to delay this long enough to get to the government shutdown so that then we can make sure we don't negotiate on anything we're about to destroy further. Then when it gets shut down, we can make that as the excuse for reasons why we can't do more on Epstein. Don't forget, this White House had a strategy meeting on how to address the Epstein issue. Why do you need a strategy meeting on how to address something that you could just take care of? It's because they're covering that. Let me end with this. Senator Ruben Gallego there, after he was speaking with, listening to Mike Johnson lying, he at least said what so many other people are saying out loud. I'm glad senators and elected officials are calling it directly for what it is. He's talking about who it is that Mike Johnson is protecting.
Let's be clear. The reason Adelita Grijalva is not here is because Mike Johnson wants to do 2 things. Number 1, cover up for pedophiles on the Epstein list. And number 2, put his members in a really rough position when it comes to voting and extending these ACA tax credits.
Mike Johnson is exposed. I'm still waiting for the next exposure of Mike Johnson, from the alleged Grindr account. Don't forget, he's got a lot of things to hide. He's got a lot of people to cover for. It's his job now.